Well, hello, and welcome back to the lands of Aecathan. No professionals, no fancy tech, just a group of women playing an all-original game of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Jeff, your game master, and here's what happened last time.
Yeah.
The group put into action their rather convoluted plan to...
Cockamamie plan?
I was trying to be nicer than that.
Okay.
To subdue and retrieve their last missing companion, Seraphina, or Safrina. I'll get it right eventually. And get her back to the Tower of Azanor, where she could be treated by the quartet of masters that are working back there. The plan went off mostly okay. They were able to subdue Safrina and then whisk her back to the rest of the group who was waiting with the mansion already cast. And then there was the question of how do you move something that large into into the mansion and through a gate. And so Athgarr polymorphed her into a lobster. And then they were able to take her into the mansion, contact Mother Tassa. Mother Tassa opened a gate, and they were able to transfer her to Mother Tassa. And then they set about resting, and the following morning went back to complete the tunnel from the first cavern out to the Great Eastern Sea. They were successful, and the cavern started flooding. And Zorith and Bo teleported back to the inn up on the surface. Athgarr teleported the rest of the group, although his teleport wasn't quite as accurate, and they ended up walking from the edge of town back to the tavern. But there they contacted Fen, the speaker of the Council of Ballinamard, and let him know that they believed succeeded, and that they would be joining them in the council house shortly. They blew out all the candles, locked up the inn once more, and headed for the council house. And that is where we pick up. So,
Let me get all their names. Oh, excellent. I've got all their names.
The big question is... Yes. Okay. So, it is about probably 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 a.m.-ish.
And you are once again faced with groups of orcish guards patrolling the streets of Ballinamard.
Right.
And they just kind of nod at you as they walk by.
Is it more groups? Because, like, the last time we were here, there weren't that many
Well, you
guards.
only encountered one.
Oh, okay.
But you were walking around maybe a quarter of the city.
Okay.
So you don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to say that with Tasha's keen mind, she is able to ascertain that these are not the same orcs that you ran into like a week and a half ago when you were last on the surface.
These are not the orcs you're looking for. Mm-hmm.
Well, none of them are the orcs we're looking for, really, but it's a little strange because you see other townsfolk passing by them, and They nod, and occasionally they'll stop and chat.
That's weird.
Yeah. In short order, you make your way to the council house. The doors are locked.
I will send a message to Ben saying we are standing outside the door. Wait, I don't know if does it have to be in line sight? I can never remember with the message.
I don't remember either. It might just
Certain
be within a
creature-
certain range.
Yeah, certain creature within range. You can cast a spell through solid objects if you're familiar with the target and know it's beyond the barrier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are they
so...
in the mansion, though?
Huh?
Aren't they in the mansion inside?
No. Because we've been gone a week. And
but remember...
We taught the guy how to do it.
Master Tube learned the spell.
oh, that's right. We gave him some, and then he.
Yes, he had 3 scrolls, 2 to cast from and 1 to learn from.
One to learn from.
And so he's been able to cast it for several days.
Correct. I am going to have. Annette's character, whose name I cannot remember.
Basha?
My brain. That's my brain. I'm gonna have her do a send message versus me doing a send message,
What would you like me to send?
just to Fen that we're out front.
Fen, we're out front. Please let us in. We're tired.
Oh, of course. I will be there momentarily.
He's coming.
And just probably 30 seconds, you hear the locks turning. And the door opens, and you see Fen, and he's kind of... He gives all of you a quick once-over. You don't look injured.
We've done a lot of healing.
Oh, so you were injured. Come in, come in.
We go in.
He ushers you through and closes the door. Well, I suppose we should talk out here. Because you are not on the guest list for Mr. Tube's
Right.
hovel.
Oh.
Well,
He has a lot to learn about making the most of that spell. He does not have the artistry that you have.
It was kind of thrust upon him.
It takes a little practice.
Agreed. But I also can say I am not the biggest fan in the world of being served by rats.
Ratatouille, anyone?
Should we have Athgarr or Tasha summon a mansion?
I'd be happy to.
I'd be happy to let him.
So,
I mean, do we know when he?
where is the
Everyone
entrance?
else,
Where is
right.
the entrance to Master Tube's? Oh, it's right over there on that wall. So if you use this wall, you should be fine. All right. And Athgarr begins singing, and shortly there is a golden door. And he says,
Do we need to invite the others?
I believe I remembered all of them. I put them on the guest list.
Right.
I'm going to stomp in.
All right. And you immediately find yourself in what feels like a desert pavilion of sorts. Lots of warm sunshine and soft winds coming in many, many windows.
Tasha, as much as I like your mansion and have come to regard it as another home, this one feels very nostalgic.
That's fine.
Well, this one feels like home.
It does.
But yes,
I care not as long as there's a bed.
Speaker, if you want to bring the rest of them over. Yes, I will do that, but I think that perhaps just us should talk first.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I would like to know what happened, basically.
Well,
Why don't we go to the kitchen and we'll all get something to eat and something to drink and sit down and regale you with stories.
The Thuilnu are super gross.
and creepy. Really creepy.
That is not surprising. I'm not entirely sure how much of that I want to know, but I will hear whatever you have to tell.
And we haven't really had much of a chance to even talk amongst ourselves about what we've seen.
We've been busy.
I would imagine so. Now, I understand you have discovered you said caverns. So it is a large installation that they've made for themselves.
Very.
It is.
And you are flooding it.
We are.
It's an evil that needs to be purged, and there are so many, and they have created so many horrors that it would take an army.
Created. You
Created.
mean like this, like, what, summoning undead?
Oh, no, it's not that simple.
Worse than that.
They modify people that they have captured.
What do you mean modify?
Well, Seraphina had crab legs and looked like a big spider.
How big?
They graft other creatures' parts. They seem to just
They
to think
recycle.
of us as bags of parts, and they rip us apart and reattach to create their own army.
Fen
It's
actually
perfect.
pales.
It's horrific, and you don't want to imagine it.
I am already imagining it.
We've seen some things that we cannot unsee. It's one of the times I was not glad to be a scout.
So, this idea to flood these caverns, that will work?
We hope so.
We don't know. We don't know enough about their anatomy to know if they have lungs, if they breathe, but we are hopeful that they will drown.
We believe they breathe.
Yes,
They have slits.
we sent some to some scholars, and it's unknown anatomy, but they are assuming that their slits are breathing.
This is not as reassuring as I had hoped to hear, but
It's large enough and there are enough that even if we were to fireball every single area, I don't know if we would be able to accomplish that.
And because of their weaponry basically turning people against themselves and against one another, if we sent an army down there, we might just be providing them with more parts.
ooh,
So this was our best option.
how will you know? How will we know if we're safe?
Well, I'm hoping that perhaps some of us can scry or watch from a distance
I
to
do have scry.
see the outcome for ourselves. And then we'll know.
And if this doesn't work, then we will come up with another plan, but we are not leaving here until all of those things are dead. And then we will begin helping people become enthralled. Yeah.
Yes, there is that as well. We've been dealing with people asking questions. Why are we holed up in the council house? Why are we not out and about as usual? So far, we have been able to say that, we are dealing with the threat of another invasion from the dragons.
Clever.
Hosen originally wanted us to go with another invasion from the orcs, but orcs were part of the group that were asking.
There will need to be some discussion about what to do with the orcs, because once they aren't enthralled, that might be problematic.
Do we have to unenthrall them?
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe we leave them.
Well, I don't know. Will the enchantment end if the Thuilnu are dead?
I don't know that either, but
Nope.
I'm looking forward to finding out.
I don't
Well-
know. Is it some altered memory? So I think it stays that way till we unalter it.
Oh, boo.
As far as we know, right? I mean, this is
Right.
speculation, but
Well, we may want to have a plan B in case they suddenly wake up and look around and think, how did we get here? And how can we pillage? There'll be a lot of confused people, and that's certainly not an environment we want to inflict on anyone.
That's problematic.
Yes, especially since most of our guards these days are the orcs.
That is very
Right.
weird.
Our troops mostly were killed.
Oh, wow.
They were the line of defense when the orcs and the dragons first attacked.
Perhaps I should contact my boss and ask for troops.
That would be a good idea. Because one other thing that I hate to remember, but I did for a moment hear the Thuilnu's thoughts.
And?
It was not something I could understand, but it seemed to be millions of voices all talking at once, as though they were
A
many,
collective.
A
Yes.
hive mind?
Many individuals
Hmm.
communicating with one mind.
Like, what do you mean, like bees?
Yes. And I know that we were connected telepathically when that happened. So I don't know how much of that came through to all of you, but it was all I could do to withstand it.
None
It
of it
was
came through to the rest
overwhelming.
of the group.
None of it came through?
No.
Well, I mean, I imagine they at least like heard me attempting to not
Yes.
scream in pain.
You heard Gwen reacting to something that you could neither see nor hear.
It was just a million voices in a language I didn't understand, and it was so overwhelming that my brain could not handle it.
So that means that the other Thuilnu are going to know.
Yes. And so if we don't have an army here for defense, they may send more.
There's no army to come. That's why we're here.
That's true.
Well-
The army is out at sea.
We may need to think about how we're going to defend the island from a full-fledged invasion, because they will know. For sure they will know.
Well, I'm going to suggest something that you're not going to like. but
Oh,
I-
boy.
I ask you to think about it simply as a matter of expediency. I'm sure that there's dead people around here. I can animate them.
Oh.
I know it's not something that you're gonna like, but if it's that or we get overrun again, I'm voting for that.
Well, yes. Okay, so I'm going to send a message to Warbender. Zori, can you contact Mother Tassa?
Wait,
Yes?
hold on.
Okay.
We don't know if it's worked. We don't know if we have to go down yet.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I think we need to find out what's happening. Give it some time and we'll check in.
All right.
I would agree, simply because I want to know, did it do what it was supposed to do?
or are they all floating up to the top
Well,
entrance?
but remember, if it did what it's supposed to do, then the Thuilnu will know before we do. And they may already have an invasion force en route before we even know if it worked.
But we can't pull the military from other areas when we don't know if they're needed, because they are needed where they are.
Agreed. We just need to know as soon as possible.
What would we call Mother Tassa for? I know we would call Warbender.
Get
but
the dragons for defense.
that's not a thing. I
Well,
think because
it
the
might
reason that they
be.
didn't go with us because they couldn't go through the tunnels with
well,
us.
that and
The interference
yes,
issue.
she has said that she can't interfere in our issues, but
right
because
and-
it's the Thuilnu, and there is some long-standing and legitimate animosity between
For
the
real.
metallic dragons and the Thuilnu, they might help.
They may decide that this is their issue.
It's worth asking. So
The
Let
worst
me
she can
scry.
say is she cannot.
Right.
let me scry a Thuilnu and see how it's going.
All right. I think you have to be out of the mansion to do that.
How many times can you do that today, Tasha?
Well, that's a good question. Let me ask.
Before you.
It is 5th level, so I can do it 5 times.
Okay.
If I use up all of my top slots. All right. You don't happen to have scry, do you?
Who are you talking to?
Sorry. Athgarr.
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's all me then. Okay.
Oh, he looks that way because I can't do it either.
So glad that I picked that up. All right. So I go outside
Okay.
and
Why did I go with you? Just in case anything goes wrong? Probably have
Thanks.
somebody beside you.
yeah. I
She's
think
not going outside. She's just going outside the mansion, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I pick a Thuilnu because it says you can see and hear a particular creature you choose. So I pick a Thuilnu that we didn't kill, and I cast scry.
All right. Let's see. So, let's see. What is your spell DC?
Wisdom 17.
All right, let me see here.
Please let them all be dead.
Okay, what are you using as your scrying receptacle?
I don't know. You mean like a picture or a garment or something? Or what do you mean?
Well, usually, like, you have something that you look into. So, like a bowl of water or a crystal ball or...
I'm sure there's it's a council house. I'm sure that there's like, and she can bring something from. Oh no, she can't.
No,
but
she
I'm
can't.
sure there are. I'm sure there are glasses and cups at the council house.
I use a bowl of water.
Okay. All right. You concentrate and an image swims into view. It's exceptionally dark.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of light. There seems to be a mass of glowing red liquid, sort of like heavier than the seawater, floating. And there's just a little bit of light being given off by that.
Okay.
I would like you to make me a perception check at disadvantage because it's so dark.
Okay, so that means I roll 2.
Yes.
And perception is plus 14. $27.
Wow, with disadvantage.
Yes, I rolled a 13 and a 16.
Wow. Okay. You see one of the Thuilnu that had the skin that looked wet, just kind of floating, and it's moving. It looks like it's trying to figure out how to swim.
Okay.
But it isn't doing it very well. You can move your point of view.
Okay.
If you want to continue to look around.
Yes, I do.
You move your sensor to the side, and you see... It looks like a cloud of floating chunks of flesh. And let's see. Make a history check at disadvantage.
I rolled a Kraken and an 18.
Jeez.
Okay. Big dice are my friend. History. Okay, so 23.
As you peer at it, you move the image a little closer, and you watch as a big chunk slowly separates and starts to float independently in two pieces. It seems that this was a horror.
Okay.
But the salt water appears to be dissolving the bonding material between the pieces.
Oh, that's nice.
They didn't use the right kind of glue.
They didn't know they were going to be up against salt water.
Right.
All right.
But the Thuilnu, you don't see any bubbles. And it doesn't appear to be suffering from the same acidic nature interacting with the water as the horrors are.
Okay, so the Thuilnu themselves aren't dying, but the horrors are.
Yes. Well, the horrors are coming apart.
The horrors are coming apart.
And if you can extrapolate from what you're seeing, once they come apart, whatever's animating them ceases to do so.
So they're
And
dying.
they once again return to just chunks of
Parts.
dead flesh.
Okay.
But the Thuilnu
Are still alive.
are not dead.
Right. But remember, it's been like an hour.
Yeah. So
Because they're not the Thuilnu,
It's-
they're not underwater at this point. They're trying to swim along the surface, right?
Yes.
So we don't know what'll happen when the water gets higher than them.
yes.
Yeah.
So we
The-
have to wait.
Where you're looking is the cavern that Safrina was in. And that has about probably 8 feet of water at this point, but you can tell that there's more coming.
Is it possible to scry on a deeper cavern?
That
One
was
would be
that was the deepest cavern. That was the third
deepest?
one.
okay.
So we're gonna have to wait to see how it progresses.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you can turn your point of view, but your point of view remains with the creature that you cast the spell on.
That makes
So-
sense. Okay. Well, while we're waiting, so I explained the good news and the bad news.
Okay, so do you finish the spell and then go back in?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So I go back in and I say, well, good news is the creatures are kind of dissolving, and as they dissolve, they die. or unanimate.
Oh, the horrors.
Yes, the creatures. Yeah, the horrors. But the Thuilnu so far, or at least the one that I could see, is not dead yet. But the water's only 8 or 9 feet deep. So we have to wait a little while longer to see what happens. It's trying to swim.
I don't know what else to do if this doesn't work. Like, I don't know what to do. We've gone through all the things in our head, and this one was the best idea.
Taking the horrors away, and hopefully, if they're dissolving, then their vats that they were making them in are also dissolving.
So that means we would only fight the Thuilnu.
Well, it does weaken them significantly.
Yes. Yeah. The problem with the Thuilnu is they have the ability to blink us out, and you have to hit the other person. They have the ability to do stupid brain stuff.
Are there any spells? I'm not. Magic isn't my forte. Are there any spells that would change water to another substance?
Aye, there's spells that can do that, but not on the scale that you're probably thinking.
Yeah, I mean that would be a lot.
It would be a lot of water.
Aye.
Were the Thuilnu, the actual Thuilnu things, susceptible to electricity? Do we remember?
I don't remember.
I think so.
They seemed especially susceptible to fire.
Oh, with my keen mind, what do I recall?
That's a good question. Let me look.
Water is a good current for electricity. So can we zap the water with lightning through the hole or something? And
Thought it'd work for a little bit, but you can't shoot a lightning bolt down into the pool and electrify the entire thing.
no.
Yeah. As much as you can remember, Tasha, at least the tall, emaciated-looking Thuilnu seemed to be affected by lightning.
Okay.
You didn't actually fight either of the other two types of Thuilnu that Gwen encountered when she was scouting. So you don't know about them.
Okay, well, so we could try that. We could try frying them to bits.
Well, like you said, it might be too big to do it, but just having a weapon against the horrors is huge.
I wonder if
Salt water.
one of our gods might lend a helping hand. Maybe this is something more on their level.
I don't know. I want to know if there was a god that helped create the Thuilnu, because I have some things to say.
Well, we know they were in league, right, with the evil god, right?
Yes. That one god.
He had a different name for the shattering.
Mm-hmm.
Right word? Yeah.
You're talking about Zuthos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, could we change the water to stone? Could we add something to make it concrete? Could we freeze it? Salt water would be tough, but it can be done.
The amount, though, is...
Exactly.
Yes, it all of that could be done, but on a scale that we would need, I don't think anything other than a god would be able to accomplish it.
Or a fleet of dragons, maybe. Well, we shall wait.
Well,
I
this is...
hope they don't learn to swim.
I am glad to hear that their creatures, their creations are not faring well in the salt water. And maybe it just takes longer.
Maybe. Should we send an update to the army, to the dragons, just to let them know what we know so far? Maybe they have some ideas as they have been examining the body.
And we could always reach out to Master Oberus and the group working at the tower and see if they can tell us anything. They might find it interesting to hear about what's happening to the horrors in the saltwater. That's huge.
Right. I can
Makes
do that.
makes me wonder if you were to create grenades with salt water, if you threw them at a horror, would it hurt them?
It's interesting, yeah. That is interesting. I can definitely send a message to Oberus. Yeah. So I will do that. And I'm going to tell about the horrors coming apart. The Thuilnu possibly swimming. If Mother Toss is standing right by them, is this enough of a problem that the dragons would get involved with? If she's not there, no big deal. We'll ask her afterwards.
You might let her know about the hive mind issue, and that those on their main homeland may know what we've done.
Right. And they may know already about us coming in. I mean, like, that's I mean, like, you know, they would know about us coming in down into the hive nest, yeah. Hive 9 main homeland might know about seawater. And have they learned anything else about our friends or the bodies that we've sent? Did that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you using greater?
Yes, I'm using the greater sending.
Well, no, wait. You sent this to Mother Tassa, right?
Oberus.
Oberus. Oh, okay.
Oberus first, because they're the ones that are doing the sciencey things.
All right, well, whenever you're ready.
No, that's what I send.
Well, we're actually going to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was about to say all the things and then let him answer. Oh, you want me to go through each one?
Well, are you just gonna
List them
launch
off?
into it?
Yeah. Ain't got time for that.
Okay.
Fine.
Ain't nobody got time for this.
No.
Ain't nobody got time for Thuilnu.
Hello. Have some updates. Gosh, there's so much.
Oh, I need you to roll percentile.
Okay. That's an 8. There we go. 2 of these. That's a 9. 89.
Okay.
8, 0,
Okay.
and 9.
Okay. All right, then go ahead.
Hello. Because I don't remember what I told him in the past. Like, we did a quick scry, and we found out the horrors are coming apart with seawater.
Oh.
And the Thuilnu might be swimming. So good and bad.
I would say good and indifferent.
Okay, why?
We don't know if them swimming necessarily means something good or something bad. They're
It's
just
only-
reacting to the water.
It's only been an hour or two that we've started the water. I don't know if we told you, but they actually speak in a hive mind.
Oh. No.
Gwen was able to, unfortunately, it hurt her brain a little bit because there was so much going on, but she says there were thousands of voices at once.
How was she able to hear?
I don't remember the spell, but she has the ability to do some little mind melding with things, and was able to tell about Safrina, that, you know, she was focused on like just eating the things, and then I think she also was able to get in the mind of something else. I can't remember now. If it doesn't work, because of the hive mind, the main / homeland of all of the Thuilnu may know that we have drowned the entire hive / nest with seawater already. So, do you think we should? There's so many things. Think we should?
I don't know. I would hope that would give them pause and make them perhaps reconsider. But again, they are so alien that I cannot lay odds.
Right.
The one thing that we have been able to discover about the Thuilnu is that they do not appear to have lungs.
Oh, crap.
The slits appear to feed into some sort of digestive system.
And I tell everybody that.
But
Oh, wait, am I out? No, I can be inside.
it looks as though, much like fish, actually, that or birds, they need to feed constantly. So,
I wonder what
unless they are able to do so through seawater, this may eventually starve them. But we have no idea how long that might take. If that
Right.
is even the case. Also, your other companion, the lobster,
Safrina, yes.
she has been restored to normal shape and size, and she is unfortunately as distraught and disturbed as your other companion. It is just very disturbing to see they are both terrified of sleeping.
Right.
They
that
both
makes
fear
sense.
that if they go to sleep, they will once again fall under the sway of those creatures. And we've tried to explain to them that it doesn't appear that that's how it works, and that if they did, we would be on hand to remove any additional modifications made to their minds, but this is trauma.
Right.
Master Ranro says that it may take weeks or even months.
We sent didn't we send the 2 people that we...
Oh, yes, the elves.
Yes.
We are preparing to...
Bring them back, right?
Well, we're going to start with 1.
Oh, okay.
And we have been discussing appropriate restraints.
Okay. I'm telling everybody this is...
There has been much, well, let us say, energetic discussion about how best to do that. Mostly it's an argument between magical and physical restraints. I actually am on the side of physical, because we do not know exactly what their capabilities are, or if they have abilities that we do not know to expect.
Right.
So are you telling us all this?
Yeah, as it's coming in, I'm telling you guys.
They were with us still when we rescued the tavern kid, right?
Who they?
Safrina and Vines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe if they take them into a mansion, because they know when we were here, we were doing that to keep the Thuilnu in our brains, maybe.
And I explained that to Obrys.
That's actually a very good idea. I will set about finding someone who can cast one of those immediately, and we will try. Anything to help them feel safe again.
It's a good idea.
Well, I would say keep an eye out on the entrance. If they're swimming, conceivably they could come to the surface. But otherwise, wait, and we'll hope.
Do you think we should contact the army? Oh, is Mother Tassa there?
Yes.
Does she think that the dragons would get involved at all now, knowing the things that she knows about the Thuilnu?
There's a pause for a moment. Well, that is not an answer that I expected. She says it would be difficult to stop them.
Oh.
Apparently they don't like the Thuilnu very much.
Right. Right. So it's less... okay. If I remember correctly, she was willing to help us, but she wasn't willing to go down into the hive because she could... I'm thinking, correct? She couldn't go into the underground things, correct? Jeff?
Yeah, she was concerned about cramped quarters and she wouldn't be able to be her most effective self.
Right, okay. So theoretically, and because we only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to tell him we'll keep you updated.
You have all of our hopes, and we'll look forward to hearing back from you when you have more to report.
Great. I am going to say to the group, not Master Obrys, theoretically, if the water pushes all of the Thuilnu up we don't know if there's another entrance, which I have always thought about in the back of my head.
Would stand to reason they had to have gotten there from somewhere, and I don't see them coming from the surface.
Right. If they end up coming out into the not Wizard's Castle,
the Shaman's Lodge.
Shamans, because I'm like, this samurai, that's not right either. The Shaman's Lodge, if they get pushed out the Shaman's Lodge, theoretically, dragons could stop them at the ring of that area, theoretically. Just thinking ahead, but also because the dragons are not necessarily, we already know that they don't like the Thuilnu. But we don't know if there's another surface doorway to put dragons at that one also. Does that make sense? Did any of that make sense?
It did.
Okay. Like, because we can't kill enough Thuilnu without depleting our reserves.
Well,
whereas
at this point, I have to say that how would we even get down there to do that? Because it's not like we can drain.
It's not like we can It's not like
Right.
we can
It's well and truly flooded, and it's going to stay that way.
Right.
We could wait by the steps or by the shaman's hut, and if they come towards the door, we kill them there,
I mean, that is the idea, but this group, would run out of ability before we killed them all. So I'm just thinking.
Well, on the other hand, you were talking earlier about lightning.
Yes.
There wasn't much space on that staircase coming up. Or that sloping tunnel. That is a fairly narrow space. So
It's a choke point.
right. And the lightning would work in those close quarters. I think more effectively than trying to do the whole enclave.
Mm-hmm.
It'd just be a matter of finding out if they're trying to come up.
So we should go there. And if it is a hive mind, if they find out that they're getting killed as they come up there, they're likely to, I would hope, retreat. At least flush them out of Ballinamard. Even if we can't kill them all.
Well, we'd hope. But they're just so weird. I don't take anything for granted when it comes to those.
No. But it is daylight right now, and they're not going to want to come out.
It's the best time to flush them out.
That is true. I suppose we could gather up some of the guards that remain, the non-orc guards. And if you took away the effects of the Thuilnu, then they would be able to watch. And we have some talented horn players who can make very, very loud noises. So if something were to happen, they could sound the alarm.
Right. How many... Okay. Out of game, DM.
Yes.
How many wizards and sorcerers does, like, a town have? Like, normal people? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do they all group together and, like, hang out together? Do they just have normal frickin' lives where they're just hanging out and then, like, if something happens, they go do whatever? Or is it the percentage of spellcasters to normal people disparity? Does that make sense?
There are a few.
A few.
Fen has told you there's a sorcerer's tower, where unfortunately it's just there's an apprentice, because the master sorcerer was killed in the dragon orc attack.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Okay.
several druids in town that
Right.
could cast Call Lightning.
Right. It's just the fact that, you know, like, recruiting normal people, recruiting sorcerers and wizards and everything, by normal people, like,
there
it
aren't a
wouldn't work.
lot. Basically,
just
it's
town folk.
yeah, because being a wizard is you either are or you aren't. So if you are, you're usually tower trained, and then you've set yourself up somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we can only unwhammy so many of them.
Right.
Very few at a time.
I can do 2, and I think Athgarr can do 3 or 4. Is that right?
Yeah. The Vimatki sisters that run Tamara's wares, one of them is a wizard and one of them is a sorcerer. And again, there are several druids. There's Master Tube.
Mm-hmm. But when we go for a list of, like, assets to accomplish a goal of picking them off when they come out,
Right.
our options are limited.
Yeah, you probably have
10 to 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say more like half a dozen to a dozen.
Right. But again, if we got the dragons involved, if it comes to that, where they start coming out, do we wake up a few people, master horn blowers? I don't know.
Why don't we go check the entrance and then
Yeah, let's start there.
wait a little bit and scry again. See what.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think that I am going to only tell the others just the basics. Let them know that you have returned, that you have flooded the Thuilnu's lair beneath the city, that it appears to be having a positive effect on them, at least as far as we're concerned, and that you have gone to further investigate.
Yeah.
Sounds like a decent plan.
Then you send me a message if you need me to. Well, you know what? I will go tell them what is happening, and then I will come back in here.
Okay.
So if you need me, I will be in here at least until this beautiful place goes away.
And you can bring the others here.
I could. I'm not going to. But I could.
Enjoy some alone time.
I appreciate all the other council members, but I do not want to live with them.
I mean, it's nice to know your neighbors and be okay with them versus living with them 24/7.
Oof, yes.
Yeah.
All right. He reaches into a belt pouch and pulls out a key and says, someone take this. This is the key to the council house, so you will not need to contact me to get back in, and you can lock the door on your way out. So, who gets the key?
I will take the key.
Okay.
Question. Trying to remember back. Did we find any hidden spaces in the building we lost Safrina and Vines in?
No.
It's the Tower of Balmus is where we sent them.
The Temple of Balmus, yes.
Right. And we assume that they were taken there.
Or on the street.
Well,
there was blood, right?
Yeah, yeah, there was blood and the priest was gone.
Okay. So we can't make any assumptions because I was like, boy, that'd be a convenient one on one side, one on the other side of the city. But gosh darn. Okay. We are heading over there. Are we? I don't want to teleport. How long will it take us to get there?
Oh, like 5
15
minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes?
Yeah. It's not far.
Okay.
So we walk.
Okay. Well, you get back there. Does it appear to be any different than it was when you came out?
Good.
So what's the plan?
Well,
We're gonna walk over there. I mean, it's only been an hour, but then again, if the hive mind is telling them to escape while the thing floods,
Better to know.
yeah. So we're gonna head over there, I guess.
okay. I'm gonna open the door, I guess.
Okay.
What? Yeah. Have we
So-
gotten there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And, sort of the
Well,
ready.
we're gonna look around. Like, if
Yeah.
we get there, we're gonna see what's available.
It looks exactly like it did when you came out a few hours ago.
We weren't here. We teleported straight to the.
Oh, that's right. You did. Okay, well, it looks like it did, like you remember it.
When we first went in.
When you first went in, Tasha is able to confirm that it doesn't look like anybody else has been here.
Okay.
All right. I open the door.
Okay. Yeah, looks the same as it did. You know the way down to the root cellar where the tunnel leads down into the caverns.
Okay.
I assume you head there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, listening the whole time and
Right. Okay.
Right.
Perception
what
checks.
do we hear? Okay. 27.
Who else is percepting? 16 and 6, 22. The more listening out, the better.
Yeah, 15 for Gwen. And 10 for Bo.
Yeah.
We're just gonna put this die in timeout.
Yeah. Athgarr got like 22, so. Quiet. You really don't hear anything. At the edge of the tunnel leading down, you still don't hear anything, but you smell the sea as if you were near the shore. But looking down in the tunnel, it just looks like the tunnel.
So it's not up to the level yet.
No.
Okay.
Would you like me to scout? I could
know
at
it's your
least
job,
look
but
to
I hate
see if there's anything ahead of the water.
Doubting is good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
head
I
into the
guess so.
tunnel.
Okay.
Are you going to do all your sneaky things?
I'll use Pass Without Trace
Okay.
and Invisibility.
Okay. Well, remember, the invisibility only lasts for a round, so.
Right. Well, I hope it won't be there for much longer.
Okay. Probably doesn't take long, about 30 seconds before you start feeling the moisture in the air, and then just a few steps further, you step into water.
Can I see?
Yes, you see water.
But nothing.
She's got night vision, right?
I do.
Right. Wouldn't that make a difference?
Yes, she can see the water in the dark.
But I can't see anything floating
No.
in or near the surface.
No.
Okay, nothing floating yet. We all float down here.
And as you stand there, make a perception check.
Not with that die. With this one, which is much better.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 25.
Okay. As you stand there, sort of watching the water, you can see ever so slowly that the water level is rising. After a minute, it's risen like 1/8 of an inch, so it's not fast.
I mean,
I
it's coming
peer
pretty
into the
fast.
water.
Oh.
Okay. Make a perception check.
That's a good roll. That is a 31.
You don't really see anything. It appears to just be seawater. You can't see very far because it's also very cloudy. I mean, it's, coming up in a dirt tunnel.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay. What's the
But
range on that?
The range is it just says self. Let's see.
30 feet.
Oh, 30 feet. Yep.
Yep.
Sorry. It doesn't say it in the description in the
Oh, it says you have to focus your mind on a creature within 30 feet of you. So if you don't see any creatures, the spell won't do anything.
Well, it says you can read the thoughts of certain creatures. Oh, it does say that you can see, so never mind.
Yep.
All right. Well, then I would have known that, so I will
Right.
not cast it. Well, I thought it was worth a shot. I guess I'll just wait a bit longer to see if there's anything else to glean.
As you stand there, a thought pops into your mind. An image of when Sekuthos taught you how to swim. Except this time, the image is of you swimming with one of those air bubble spells around your head. And then it vanishes.
Oh.
I thought of that earlier, but I didn't think she was in the water.
Well, I thought of that too, and I was looking at my spells, and I was like, how much would they kill me if I... But you know, if Sekuthos is throwing out ideas,
So much.
I'll...
Because he's the best judge of character and
you have
what's,
no way to get a
you
hold
know.
of us right now, by the way, because we didn't.
I
mind
do.
meld.
I could message you.
Do you have message?
I do.
Okay.
And message goes for how far?
120 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's within range.
Okay.
So I will send a message
To who?
to Zori. And just say, so I just got a little birdie whispering in my ear that suggested maybe I go for a bit of a swim with the air bubble. And it's going to be the best way that I can get a better look because it's too murky to see otherwise from the surface.
I don't like it.
All right, Zorth, you can reply.
Oh, this is. But I know that you're our scout, and I hate all of it. But if you don't message me within a minute, 5 minutes, we're coming to look for you. 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 3 minutes.
And I tell everybody
what
I
I'm
don't-
doing.
Yeah. She has 3 minutes.
I cast air bubble.
And you see Athgarr get this look on his face like, oh my god. And he levers himself down into the tunnel.
Oh my god.
I'm already in the water.
He looks back and says, I'm not going in the water, but I'm going to it.
I want to cast locate creature.
Are you going to tell us that so he doesn't go without going? Or is he gone?
No,
And
I'm
he,
not.
He went.
I'm not worried about that. So it will let me locate the nearest Thuilnu if there's one within 1,000 feet.
Okay. All right. You get a ping, but it doesn't feel close. It's down and sort of due west.
Is it moving
Yes.
closer or away?
Up.
I share that.
All right, Gwen. You cast the spell, so you have this. You have the nifty air bubble around your head now.
Yes.
All right. How far do you want to go? It's probably at this point probably maybe 15 feet down to the level tunnel that leads into the room with the gelatinous horror.
Well, I will head that way, and obviously I'm not going to go anywhere near the gelatinous horror.
Well,
assuming
it's dead. I mean,
Okay.
you killed it when you first entered the cavern.
Okay, I didn't know if there were any remnants.
No, I think when you kill those things, they kind of dissolve.
Okay. Well, I'll head that way.
Okay.
I know I've only got 3 minutes, so I will swim for 3 minutes.
Okay. It gets you back into the what you assume was the cavern with the mists, that is now just a cavern with water.
All the way to the top?
Almost. There's probably 2 feet left, and you can see from beneath the surface that there's still mist in those 2 feet. But where the water is, it's just water. And there's you can now make out that there are 3 tunnels that lead out of this room. There's one to the right, one in front of you, and one sort of off to the left.
So I've now been down here for 3 minutes, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm going to send Zori a message and say, as promised, I'm letting you know I'm fine. I've seen no Thuilnu. The water has not completely filled the tunnel. I'm in the room with the mists.
Oh, it's completely filled the tunnel. It just hasn't completely filled the cavern.
Okay, so it hasn't fully filled the cavern with mists.
And I tell everybody.
You don't get the message.
You're too far.
No. Really? I've gone further than 120 feet?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Considering how far down and in you've gone.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know that she's going to freak, and I don't get a response, so I know she's losing it. So I swim back up until I'm within range and resend the message.
Okay. All right.
I say, this is how far I've managed to get. I had to come back up to send this message. Should I continue?
Let me ask everybody, and then I can send you a message.
You can tell her that.
And Athgarr said he was on his way down to you, and Arabelle went and looked to locate a Thuilnu, and it was far-ish away from us. Moving up, but far-ish away from us.
Maybe floating up with the water.
Maybe floating up with the water. We don't know. So let me talk to everybody. And I turn around. And after 3 minutes was done, I was motioning us to like head further down a little bit. So I don't know how many minutes it's been. 3 more minutes probably for her to get back.
Yeah. Well, maybe 2.
Okay, so we've taken some steps down that hallway that her and Athgarr went down, because I said I gave her 3 minutes. And then I tell everybody, I said, what do you want me to tell her? What do we want to do?
I think head back.
Head back to the council?
No, have her head back to us. And maybe Tasha can scry.
Okay, so then I send a message back.
Okay.
And I say, you and Athgarr head on back. We're going to have Tasha scry again, because it's good that we haven't encountered any this close, and also Arabelle's locate creature decided that it was however far she told me away.
A ways. There you don't get a real sense of distance, but
okay, quite a ways away. So that's pretty positive. You can head back if you'd like. I mean, we'd like it.
So I message her and say, Athgar's not down here with me. Why don't I have plenty of air. I'll just hang here. Let me know what Tasha sees.
I tell everybody what she said.
I don't like it.
Either.
So
Has Athgarr made it down there yet?
He didn't go in the water.
no,
He
he
said
didn't
he
go in the
didn't-
water.
Yeah, he said he didn't go in the water.
He
But-
said he wasn't going in the water. He was going to the water.
But where would she have made it to tell us? In the
Probably back to the
Gelatinous
bottom of the
ooze?
slope.
which is where he should be, right?
No, he's probably 20 feet up at this point.
Got it. Okay, well. I should probably send a message to Athgarr. I'm gonna send a message to Athgarr. I don't know how far down you are, the thing, but she's still in the water and got a bubble over her head. She's fine. She's not encountered anything, and when Arabelle did her find creature, they were very far away from the area that we're at. So.
Well, I'm glad she's all right. I'm here at the edge of the water as far as it's come up, and I'll wait for her.
And I tell everybody. Huffy and irritated, I speak to Athgarr about Gwen. She's still down there.
Literally my job.
I know, and I hate it every time. Every time you do your thing, I'm like, I hate it.
But being that far from us when you're the one who can cast the bubbles is a little nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay, I told everybody, and I told Athgarr.
I scry again.
And
Okay.
or me or something.
I take my pool of water and I go.
Well, you could probably just
Use
go
the-
down to where Athgarr is and use the water in the tunnel.
Okay. So I go down there.
Because your bowl is probably still back in the council chamber.
No, I brought it with me.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Not hourly. So, cast.
All right. Wow. Okay. The image appears in the bowl again. This time, it's just black.
Ugh.
Like there's no light on the other end.
That makes it difficult, doesn't it? So there's no way for me to tell?
Not as it stands now.
Tell me.
Fine. I sent a message to Gwen. I scried, but I can't see anything because it's too dark. Oh, I can't do both at the same time.
Well, message is a cantrip. Can you cast
Do
a
you have-
cantrip
Message?
with concentration?
I don't know.
I don't think she has message either. She's got.
I thought I did.
As long as message isn't concentration, she can cast another spell. She just can't cast two concentration
Oh,
spells.
okay. Then yeah, she can. Because message is just a regular spell, and it's a cantrip. So So yes, you can
Oh.
cast message while you are scrying.
Okay, I don't have message. I lied. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well then no you can't.
Can she talk to us while she's scrying?
Can I do sending though? It's not a concentration spell.
Then yeah.
Okay, so send. So I
Okay,
So-
now you've got 25 words. I've been letting you play it loose and fast with message, but with sending,
Message has no. Message has no.
doesn't it?
It
point your
doesn't say
finger-
anything about.
Toward a sea creature within range and whisper a message
okay. So
it doesn't
anyway,
say
Okay.
how long it is.
for one
Sending.
round. So, 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, with sending, you have 25 words.
Right. I scried, but I can't see anything.
Hmm.
Do you want to send more than that, or is that it?
It's too dark.
You are muted.
I'm not. I'm frozen. Annette, tell him.
Oh, we can see you and hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, bizarre. Still?
Yeah.
I can hear you. You're not moving, but I can hear you.
Okay. I ask one of them to cast light on a coin and toss it down.
Okay. So
Mm.
one of you will have to do that because Athgarr won't have heard this. And you are now muted as well.
Who wants to go take a coin and cast light on it and pitch it in the water?
I don't have light, so it can't be me.
Well, and she'd have to get to a Thuilnu.
Not necessarily.
Well, if you
Well-
want to try on a Thuilnu, she'd have to.
You
Yeah.
would have to get to the specific Thuilnu that Tasha is scrying.
Right.
That doesn't make. Yeah.
Or Gwen would have to get to a Thuilnu, and then
Which we don't want.
No, not by herself.
No.
We either all have to go, or she comes back out of the water.
I'm going to send her a cantrip and say you'd have to do the light on the thing, and you'd have to go way down the tunnel and find the exact one that Tasha is scrying on in order to see with the scry and a light. So we'd rather you didn't. We'd rather you come back, but
Yes, come back. Come back.
Fine. But if you really want to know what's going on, I start swimming back. But I'm swimming back. I'm going to continue to face down the tunnels as I swim back.
Okay. Well, your vision is severely limited
Yeah.
because of the cloudiness of the water. So
Okay.
when you break through the surface back into the tunnel, you see a startled Athgarr.
Hello.
Who immediately begins humming, and bit by bit, you dry off.
Thanks. I wasn't able to see anything. It's very murky down there.
I would imagine.
Dissolved horrors will do that.
Yeah, I was trying not to think about what I was swimming through. aside from salt water.
Did you bump into any chunks?
Not that I noticed.
Then hopefully you were far enough away that
One can only hope.
I would think you would have noticed.
Jack.
After you.
So you don't want me to continue to explore and see if I can find a Thuilnu? See if it's drowning?
Not by yourself that far out of contact when they could whammy you psychically and we could lose you.
Yes.
I just feel like we need to... This is information we need to know.
Then we can all go for a swim.
Well, that just means we would all be whammied. It's better to not have us all together so that there's someone to rescue someone if they were affected.
We wouldn't know.
You would know by the lack of response. So maybe...
Right. Well, if I link to Sal again.
Right. And then is there anything that would help me to see in the water that would improve my ability to sense the Thuilnu before I'm right in contact with one?
The problem is that the water is cloudy.
Right.
I don't think I have anything that would let you see through that. I could let you see through illusion. I could let you see hidden things.
I can make light, but I don't know if that's going to help.
Yes, even into the ethereal plane. But it's like walking through fog. Even with light, you can only see so much.
And to DM, my primeval awareness
Has
doesn't...
never picked up the Thuilnu or the horrors.
I kind of know the way to the one that I sensed. Will light help at all?
No. I mean, it literally is like walking through a thick fog. If you think about, or you think about driving through a thick fog, what happens if you turn your brights on?
Right.
You just see the fog brighter. It doesn't actually let you see further.
What about something like daylight?
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's not going to...
Right.
It's not going to clear the dirt and silt out of the water to allow you to see further. I mean, your vision would be limited if it was just straight salt water, because you can only see so far underwater. But with everything that's floating in the water at this point, I mean, think about it's not even that. It's just the tunnel that Zorath and Bo carved. It's rushing in with the full pressure of the ocean, and so when it's hitting things, it's kicking up dirt and rock dust and anything else that might be around. Plus, probably a little bit is the paste, the paste and the mushroom liquid that they use to create the horrors. When that dissolves, that probably mucks up the water too.
And also goopy things, the red, yellow, and
Yeah, all those
those
barrels of
goop.
the mushroom extract or whatever it is.
But those were bright, though, right?
Yes.
Mm.
And that was why Tasha could see the first time, was that the Thuilnu she was focusing on was floating in a room that the glowing crimson liquid had sort of risen up into the water, but it was
Right.
it's viscous, so it was still sort of hanging together and
Right.
giving off a little bit of light.
Got it.
Well,
Maybe.
Is it worth it for me to swim toward the Thuilnu that Tasha can see, or that Pam could detect?
I think you'd have to bring it back. I mean,
which I don't recommend.
Can you still sense it? Is it still moving?
is it still moving, Jeff?
Yes, it is still slowly rising.
The water.
The
The
Thuilnu
Thuilnu.
is slowly rising, so I assume
So I can sense it, but I
No,
can't.
no. Arabelle can sense it.
No. If you sense it, can you tell if it's alive?
I assume since I can sense it, it's alive.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Oop.
Poop.
Well, if it's moving through the water in an area that is submerged and it's alive, then I guess we have our answer.
That doesn't mean it's run out of air yet.
Is the water all the way up to the ceiling?
But we don't know if they have lungs. So
We
it wouldn't
do
matter.
know they do not have lungs.
Right. So we don't know if that.
What it'll do.
Matters.
Yeah.
Obrus suggested that if this were to affect them, it would
Starve.
literally starve them.
Yeah, but
And
So that will
I don't know
take
how long that
time.
would take.
We don't know.
Starve them.
Because they couldn't get food.
Yes, the slits in their face, Master Obrus told Zorith, that was tied to their digestive system.
So the cavern, the water is to the top, or the corridor, right? But we don't think it's all the way to the top
Not in the cavern.
in the cavern.
Right.
Gwen went into the mist-filled cavern, and there was still about 2 feet.
But also, as it goes, they're going to keep rising up. Like air is going to keep coming up as it goes through, right? So those bottom ones may not be all completely full. Right?
Modern caverns.
Right, because like never mind. Nobody knows what I'm talking
I
about.
get it.
Never mind.
Gwen, make an investigation check for me.
Okay, and then I have a question.
That is 20. Dirty 20.
That's enough. This is the first time you actually got a sense of how high the ceiling is in the mist cavern. And judging what you saw in the other 2 caverns, well, in all 3 caverns, the mist cavern is the ceiling is much lower than the large caverns. The mist cavern, the ceiling's probably 15 feet. The large caverns, it's about 45, 50 feet.
So there's still plenty of air in
Yes.
those larger caverns.
Yes.
So if you got to the edge of one of the bigger caverns where the ceiling is high, and you let your owl out, and it could see over the water, like what's rising in the water, then it could scout above the water and see, because it's not murky in the air, right? Just in the water.
Correct.
Right.
And that lasts
But
for a long
can the owl see in the dark?
I just looked and it said it's like a giant owl. And that says they have dark vision 120 feet.
Then the owl can see in the dark.
Sounds like I'm heading back down.
Ooh.
All I can see is a good thing the god of chaos taught me how to swim. Thanks, Akuthos.
Before you go,
We've got the telepathic bond up now, right?
Yes.
you only have your good movement in a familiar terrain, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then I am going to touch Gwen and cast freedom of movement on her.
Okay. All right. That will actually give you your full movement speed in the water.
It also
Great.
lets you attack if you need to.
Yeah.
But please
All
don't.
right. I never took my bubble down because it lasts for 24 hours. So
Can you cast that again?
I can.
Athgarr is going with her now.
Then I should go with her.
Isn't it better that I only go alone? I scout ahead, and what I can do is, how about this? I will cast the bubble enough for you to follow me should the need arise. But I don't want you to follow me, because if I get into trouble, I need to have a backup. If you're with me, I don't have that.
I'll stay back a ways. I'll pace you as you go.
But you can't see her underwater.
Right.
No, but she can tell me through the link where she is.
So I'll cast the spell a second time at 4th level, and that will allow me to create, let's see, 2 additional globes of fresh air for each level above 2nd. So that should produce 6.
So we all have it.
So you
Yeah.
all have it.
Okay. And Athgarr sings a freewheeling little tune to himself and casts something.
Let's see, is there anything else I want to cast on you before you go?
Buff spells. What?
That's what I'm looking, what I want to do.
Ooh, wait.
Okay.
Oh, right. Am I looking at the right one?
Where's the one?
Ha!
What?
Athgarr begins to croon a very odd song that the notes seem to vanish prematurely as he sings them. And he reaches out and just touches Gwen on the temple. I don't know if this will work, but if it does, it may render you immune to whatever it is they do to knock us out.
Oh. Is it the Dream Sentinel?
It is not. It is an 8th rank spell called Mind Blank
Ooh.
that I can only cast once.
Well, I thank you.
And I cast Shield of Faith on you, which give you +2 to your AC for 10 minutes.
Okay. The mind blank lasts for 24 hours.
What does that mean?
It says, until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is immune to psychic damage. Any effect that would sense its emotions or read its thoughts, divination spells, and the charmed condition. The spell even foils wish spells or effects of similar power used to affect the target's mind or to gain information about the target.
Ooh, that's pretty fancy.
8th level spell.
Yeah. Well, I learned it specifically because I thought it might be useful against these fuckers.
Yeah.
Well, I'd better move fast. I don't have much time. So I will head in the direction that Arabelle mentioned,
Okay.
noting the Thuilnu.
Straight on through
Okay.
the tunnel that is directly across from the entrance tunnel to the Room of Mists. And you all see or sense Athgarr counts to 10 and then dives into the water.
And we wait.
I hate waiting.
All right.
I'll give updates
I hate
telepathically as to which room I'm in. They'll know if I describe the rooms, they know where I am.
You get through the mist cavern and you make it to where the tunnel starts to curve out into that cavern.
And
What do you want to do at that point?
I'm going to stay close to the wall
Okay.
and try to, as unobtrusively as possible, move toward, just kind of pulling my way up the wall toward the surface.
Okay.
Where the air pocket would be.
All right. I need you to make a stealth check at disadvantage.
$12. Not very good.
You pull yourself up the wall and you feel your head break the surface. It's pitch black. I was going to say, do you have dark vision?
Let's see. I mean, I think I do. I'm a half elf, so I have dark vision to 90 feet.
Okay. All right, so you break the surface and you can see that the cavern is flooding. I mean, it's the water is flat as far as you can see, and you notice just the tip of one of the buildings still sticking above the water. Make a perception check.
It's a good perception check. 30.
It takes a minute for your eyes to adjust to exactly what you're looking at with all the moving water. You see, at first you think maybe it's like a piece of the mushroom planking that they made the buildings out of. With a bit of a start, you realize that you're looking at the flat face of a Thuilnu, that its face is just barely above the level of the water.
looking upward.
looking
Like
straight
this?
up. Yep. Well, its face is facing straight up. It doesn't have eyes. So,
Right.
but its face is facing straight up.
Does it seem to be aware of my presence?
It is not reacting. It is just sitting there.
Okay. I am going to, since it's not reacting to me, I'm going to go ahead and get my owl
Okay.
and release it.
All right. Remind me, you can communicate telepathically with the owl?
I can.
Okay. It takes off almost completely silently and begins to fly around the cavern. What do you want to know?
I want to know how many objects it can detect at or near the surface level, as in how many Thuilnu and what are they doing?
You get more of a running commentary, as in, there's one. There's one and one. There's one and one and one and one. There's one.
Are they moving?
They are floating.
Are their appendages moving?
I can't see their appendages. They are in the water. I see maybe it's their faces?
Do they seem to be moving closer to one another or further apart from one another?
They are not moving across the water. They are floating in the water.
Are there more appearing or are there the same number?
I'm not sure. The room is very big.
So telepathically, I tell the others what I see, what I'm hearing from the owl, and I ask them, now that I can see one, do I want to try to detect its thoughts? Knowing that it's like trying to take a sip from a fire hose.
Well, you know that there's at least 9. That's how many I counted. There's one. So,
Well, yeah, there were a lot more. In total, there's over 40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, because if you get affected and you pass out,
I am ready to pull her out. I am near the entrance to the cavern.
could your owl... I don't remember if her owl gets hurt. Does it die?
It goes back into its dormant.
Right. Yeah.
Could you have the owl go down to like the face of one and like...
I could.
and see if it does anything? I mean, I don't know.
I will ask the owl to basically do a flyby where it glancingly attacks the face of one, like drags its talons across a face and keeps moving.
Okay.
Why?
Well, I don't want it to like land on one.
Right, I know. I'm just wondering why Jeff is like, Were you not expecting that?
I was not. looking to see exactly what their response would be.
Well, right. It's
Get
like,
the hell
does
out of
it,
my face! But that's what we want to know.
right. Does it react or does it
Right.
just kind of go
Blurb,
blub,
blurb,
blub, blub?
blurb. Yeah. Exactly. We're on the same wavelength.
That was a little
Exactly.
scary.
All right, let's see.
And then if it does, send your owl like a different way.
If it does what?
If it does
Flail.
Blurb,
react,
blurb, blurb.
right,
Yeah,
and
if
try
it's-
to attack it.
You're right. Then I'm going to call it back.
Oh no. Then you get out of there and let
Right.
your bird fly. Because
Well, it
if
can't
you
get
call
out.
it back,
It can't get out. I want my owl back.
doesn't it go dormant?
Right, but it'll just stay down there dormant.
No, I don't think that's how that
Oh,
works.
does it come back automatically to me?
I think it comes back to your little.
It basically dissolves and its essence goes back into the amulet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I was like, no, come back here, and all the Thuilnu are following it.
Right, right.
Um,
Smart.
okay, let's see.
No, don't do the thing.
Like, don't leave my owl down there.
There is you sense a burst of pain from the owl, and then its consciousness vanishes.
Oh.
Oh,
So it did get attacked back.
Yeah.
Okay. I am creeping back down the wall. And I'm telling the others telepathically, Mayday, Mayday. They
Yep.
are
About
capable of attacking.
About 10 seconds later, the owl pops back up on your telepathic link, but it basically says, "Help, I am in the water."
Oh.
Can I tell it to...
You can dismiss it.
Okay, I dismiss it.
Okay.
Yikes.
And I'm moving as quickly and carefully as I can back toward Athgarr and toward the others.
Okay. Well, Athgarr waits until you get down to where he is, and then he swims back with you, up back to the entry tunnel and up out of the water.
And the whole time I'm swimming back, I'm like, they're not dead. They're alive. They're attacking.
They're just
They're-
floating there.
They're
but they're
floating.
Not, they're not dead.
They are not dead. They're probably chatting and sending messages to each other.
Just having
They're
a day
just-
out on the beach. Hey, what do you
Thuilnu
think of
soup
this?
in there. They are just floating and nasty.
So he probably attacked psychically, though, right? He
Well,
didn't move, right?
I mean, it's a metal owl. I mean,
It can still take psychic damage.
can it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless it specifically says it's immune to psychic damage.
No, I think it becomes a living creature when you activate it. So it's an owl. It's like a flesh feathered bird.
Okay.
So, but did you see the Thuilnu raise its arms out of the water or anything? Just its head, right?
Was it close enough for me to see?
The owl came down and scraped with its talons, and then there was the flash of pain.
But I mean, I couldn't see the owl.
No.
Okay.
But you also didn't see any movement or any light or anything.
Right.
You know, you didn't hear any splashing noises.
So if they're just stuck floating because they can't swim, all they can do is their creepy psychic stuff.
Right, but if any of them do float, God, I hate that word, toward the tunnel entrance, then
But they're already above the
That's
tunnel
true.
entrances. And
That's true.
eventually, they will run out of air as the cavern fills.
But they don't breathe air.
They're going to be hit. Well, we don't know what's going to happen. They'll starve. We don't know how long that will.
well, they don't
They'll
really
be
seem
underwater because the thing will push them down, correct?
right.
Correct.
And it doesn't seem, at least from what I observed, and DM, you'll have to tell me if this is accurate. It doesn't seem that they are swimming. They are merely floating
Right.
just at the surface. So if the water continues to rise and they continue to float, they'll just bump up against the ceiling eventually. It doesn't seem like they can swim downward, at least not that we've observed.
Well, and you said their faces are out of the water, so they have some instinct to keep themselves, that part of their body, out.
Oh,
I don't know
that's
if-
a good point.
I don't know if it's instinct or if that's just the most buoyant part.
Whoop. That's funny.
We don't know.
We'll have to wait a little bit longer and see if I stop sensing them.
Right.
And as you regroup in the tunnel...
I was going to ask a question.
Oh, go ahead. Zorath has a question.
Arabelle sensed one that was alive in an area down around, knowing the hive that we were just in. Was it further down than that or approximately that?
It was approximately that.
But she only sensed one that was aware.
I can only sense one.
Yeah, it's
She
locate
sensed
creature.
one that was aware because that's only what she knows. Never
Right,
mind.
right.
Yeah, I sense the closest creature to me.
Got it. Okay.
So she just detected one of the floaters.
That was alive.
That was
yes.
rising, right? I can tell
Yeah.
it's
Right.
is what it's doing.
Oop.
Gross.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, gross. Ugh.
As Athgarr and Gwen dry off and the four and Bo and Athgarr regroup, that's where we'll stop. We'll pick this up next time and figure out how you're gonna figure all this out.
So gross.
Yes.
No ideas.
Just the whole floating under the surface thing is so gross.
Buoyant, bloopy, blobby things.
Like
Yep.
jellyfish
Ugh.
with bodies.
I had not
Super
thought of them
dangerous
like that, but
jellyfish.
all right.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next week, and hopefully you'll come back and let us welcome you once more to the lands of Aecathan. Good night, everybody.